What's up, race fans? It's Randy Orton Fan 2011, and I'm back here to bring you round 11 of 30 in Season 3 of the PORWC Pepsi Max Nationwide Series. We're here at the Meadowlands Speedway for the MetLife 300. So we're just about past halfway of the regular season here in the Nationwide Series. This will be the second half as we start the second half of the regular season. Just needed some Gatorade right there. And we got a pretty fast track here in Meadowlands Speedway. Now, if many of you are not familiar with Meadowlands Speedway, I had this back in Season 1, but I never give more details about it. So I'm going to give you a little more details about this right now, as because this track is Meadowlands, it is very similar to two particular tracks. In turns 1 and 2, you'll see the track is very similar to Charlotte and Texas and Atlanta, etc., 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 those tracks. But when you get to turns 3 and 4, those two turns 3 and 4, are very similar to those of Indianapolis. So it's going to be interesting to see how these cars, how the drivers, I can't come up with the word, how the drivers can change their strategy and adjust to the kind of changes that they will see from turns 1 and 2 into turns 3 and 4. So it's going to be interesting to see how that turns out as we take a look at the starting lineup. As look at your starting lineup, Danny Wells will be starting on the pole. He is our defending PORWC Pepsi Max Nationwide Series champion. He'll be starting alongside Seth Cole. Then you got James Qualls, Sean Galligan in row 2. Row 3 has our current points leader, Trenton Dunham, and Tony Blazer. Row 4 has Dylan Pote and John Dillon. And the fifth row, rounding out the top 10, are Xavier Livingston and Ben Paul. Our former points leader, Michael Norman, is going to be starting back in the 37th position. So, because he actually crashed during qualifying, so he had to take a provisional. So, not the kind of way Michael Norman wanted to start the second half of the regular season after having the points lead for most of the first half of the regular season. But as we are just about ready to fire up these engines, let's get started. Engines have been fired up. Here we go. We're going to be here for 15 laps, and someone's already having a problem. Somebody has a problem. It's Zohar Manoud in the 22. Zohar Manoud in the 22 already has a problem right before they even get to the green flag, and the pace car lights are on, so they are waving off the green flag. They are going to wave off the start. Wow, you don't see that very often, but they are going to wave off the start. They're going to hold these guys for one more lap. They're going to hold them for a full pace lap. So right from the get-go, tough break for Zohar Manoud in the 22, and now that will get the rest of the field intact here, because we waved off the start. So we'll have a full start right when we get back to green flag racing. So stay tuned. We'll get back to you for the green flag. Okay, as the cars are coming through turns 3 and 4, this time we'll hopefully get the cars ready to go. We're going to wait for the pace car to hit pit road. Now the pace car is going to hit pit road. Look at this view. A huge amount of attendance here. At least 180,000 here in New Jersey. As we were ready to go racing here at the Meadowlands, waiting on the green flag. There's the green flag. Here we go. 15 laps here at the Meadowlands. And again, the strategy is going to really start to play a factor here in this race, because turns 1 and 2 are very similar to what you would see at Charlotte, Atlanta, and Texas. But watch these cars as they come through turns 3 and 4. They really have to use the brakes here. As you see, James Qualls, the winner from Las Vegas, is going to take over the lead. And we got a couple of cars getting a little loose there. A couple of cars getting loose off the turn 3. As James Qualls is now the leader, and now they're 4 wide. They were 4 wide. They're 3.5 wide, I should say, for the second position. And there goes Dylan Pote. Dylan Pote's around. Yellow flag is out. Oh, and there goes more. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Sean Henley just lifted off the ground. And that's Jack Richards. Jack Richards flipped over. Cody Lamas is around. Ryan Richards. John Dillon upside down. Seth Cole. And Dylan Pote just slammed into Sean Henley. Sean Galligan's in it. Yellow flag is out. There is our pole sitter, and a tough break for Danny Wells. Ryan Cooper's in it as well. Yellow flag is out. They're going to be racing back to the line here. Top 5 are able to get through without damage, as it will be James Qualls who beats the field to the line. Max Russell will be second, Xavier Livingston third, Kyle Sosnowski fourth, and Trenton Dunham rounds at the top 5. But look at this. Sean Galligan, heavy damage. He's up in smoke. He's done for the day. Yellow flag is out for the first time in this race. And now let's take you to what brought out our first yellow flag. Stay tuned. Well, you knew something bad was going to happen when they were like this. Right as they cross the start-finish line, go to our bird's eye view camera here. Dylan Pote just gets taken out by Trent Dunham here. Going to slow down the rest of the field, and Danny Wells trying to find a way to get out. But right here, Danny Wells is going to take a hit from Sean Henley. And Sean Galligan's going to get into the mix here as well. And there is Seth Cole, just nowhere to go. And there goes more. Ryan Cooper's going to get into it. John Dillon, Cody Lamas. Sean Henley got lifted off the ground. Oh, a couple cars are upside down there. Cody Lamas was upside down. John Dillon upside down. Seth Cole flipped over as well. Man, a lot of cars. A lot of cars, and they were all towards the front here. A lot of these cars were all towards the front. And there is Jack Richards in the 16. He's going to get flipped over by Jacob Cook. So multiple cars getting involved in all these incidents. Multiple cars getting involved in here. Oh, Ben Paul actually took a hit back there towards the back. Oh, and right there, Dylan Pote had minimal damage and thought he made it through. Then he didn't see Sean Henley just come up right in front of him. And that will end Dylan Pote's day. This is the race back to the start-finish line. And it is James Qualls who beats the field to the line. Then it is Max Russell second, Xavier Livingston third, Kyle Sosnowski fourth, Trent Dunham. That is your top five. We're under the yellow flag for the first time this race. Now let's get you back to green flag racing. We're back. Pace cars giving us the one to go. It looks like 11 cars actually have DNF from the race. Ryan Richards, Jack Richards, Ben Paul, Cody Lamas, John Dillon, Sean Galligan, Sean Henley, Ryan Cooper, Seth Cole, Danny Wells, and Dylan Pote. Ryan Juke is a lap down, as we can see right here. We saw Tony Blazer, Jacob Cook had to take the wave around because they actually suffered major damage from that incident. Zohar Manoud still hasn't crossed the start-finish line, and it looks like Zohar Manoud might end up going to the garage here. And another car is might head to the garage. It might be Rhett Yates. He might have some problems. So another tough break for Rhett Yates. He's just not having the season that he's wanted to. As we're just about ready to get back to the green flag with we're just under halfway here with 9 laps to go. There's the green flag. Here we go. Back to green flag racing here in the Meadowlands. 9 laps to go. And now maybe with everyone single file here, maybe they will, well, not already. They're already 3 wide here. Come to turns 1 and 2. And there's our points leader, Trenton Dunham. He's trying to come up with a big finish here. Now that some of the other leaders, some of the other contenders have been taken out, he's trying to come away with at least a top 10. But here comes Xavier Livingston. Remember, Xavier Livingston actually, I think he's won before in the Nationwide Series. I'm not quite sure. I don't know why. Actually, he hasn't, but he has had some success before. He has made the playoffs in season 2. Now he's trying to get a lap led here, as he will lead a lap and he will get a bonus point. There's Kyle Sosnowski now in the second position. Dylan Young has now moved his way into third. There's Callum Wales, the Aussie, trying to take away fourth from our previous race leader, James Qualls. And now there's Sam Young. Maybe he'll assist Dylan Young here in the mix later on in this race, but we'll have to wait and see. There you see Jacob Cook, Tony Blazer. Those guys are going to be off the pace. And now we got some action towards the back of the pack here. Well, actually, there's not much cars left, so the diminished field now could play a factor in this, as Barney Ward is now going to scrape the wall. He's going to lose positions. Got some battles here between Charles Jackson, Eric Burton. I don't know what position they're battling for. I think they're battling for 26. No, they're battling for 20th. They're battling for the 20th position here. So now, that has given up big break for Michael Norman to possibly gain some ground on Trent Dunham, who has now fallen back to 14th. So Trent Dunham is now back into, well, actually he's in the 15th position. So Trent Dunham is now back in the 15th position. He got stuck on that outside line. So now that could open the door up for Michael Norman. Oh, contact between James Silverfox and Robert Wagner. Well, you got to be careful on this track. You know, those turns 3 and 4 are really confusing. And these drivers really need to adjust to the change of turns, the change of the style of turns here on this track. And let's get back to the lead battle here, and now it's Xavier Livingston who has pulled away from the rest of the field, and now there is Dylan Young trying to catch up. Richard Johnson has now moved his way into the 3rd position. Where the hell did he come from? There's Jacob Lawler, who has now moved his way into 5th, but there is James Qualls trying to take away the 5th position. Got a battle here for 7th between Joseph Lombard and Kyle Sosnowski. There is 9th position, Sam Young. Last person in the top 10 is Red Bell. 5 laps to go now, as I will take a little Gatorade break because I'm kind of thirsty. That's some good Gatorade right there. But Xavier Livingston's still the leader. Pay a little bit attention to the lap times here. Xavier Livingston ran a 47.67. Dylan Young a 40.755. So Dylan Young a little faster than Xavier Livingston, but it might take a mistake on Xavier Livingston's part if Dylan Young might want to have a chance, or maybe Richard Johnson, to pounce into a good finish here, or at least a podium finish, because Xavier Livingston is trying to restart from where he's left off from season 2. He made the playoffs, but he got eliminated early because of a lot of troubles. 4 laps to go now, this time by. Go back towards the back of the pack here. Everyone pretty much single file or side by side. Michael Norman has now fallen back over to 16th. Where's Trenton Dunham? He is now in 12th. So it wouldn't be much of a point swing for Trenton Dunham. He's going to have to get back on the inside line if he wants to get himself a little more ground. He's going to have to pass Ron Fajara, who's currently 11th. And I'm very surprised right now at Ron Fajara. He's been having consistent... Oh, Kyle Sosnowski's in the wall, so that's going to move Ron Fajara up to the 10th position. And I mentioned before, I was very surprised at Ron Fajara's consistency this season. He has been doing very well. He's been very consistent, which means he is actually currently, I think he's somewhere inside the top 10 or just outside the top 10 in points. So Ron Fajara is has been doing very consistent, and surprisingly for a rookie. I mean, I didn't even think a rookie would have, with the Danica Patrick paint scheme, would have some consistency like this, but you got to give credit to Ron Fajara for having a lot of consistency, a lot of top 10s. Not many top 5s, though, if any top 5s, but Ron Fajara has been very consistent so far. 2 laps to go, and now we got a battle here for second between Dylan Young and Richard Johnson. Dylan Young ran at least a 1/10 of a second slower than Richard Johnson, and Richard Johnson's going to have the inside advantage. He's going to take away the 2nd position from Dylan Young. Callum Wales still in the 4th position. Now we got a battle here for 5th between James Qualls and Jacob Lawler. Joseph Lombard now in 7th. Battle here for 8th between Red Bell and Sam Young. Sam Young trying to get back in the picture here. And Ron Fajara still in the 10th position. Now Trent Dunham might get challenged for 11th by Luke Martin. Looks like the yellow flag will not come out this time by. There's the white flag. 1 lap to go for Xavier Livingston. Richard Johnson not running much faster lap times than Xavier Livingston. Just a little faster, but not very fast. Now Dylan Young trying to go to the inside, trying to get every point that he can. Trying to get every precious point he can. Looking to the inside of Richard Johnson for the 2nd position. This is the final lap, but Richard Johnson's still strong on the outside. It's going to take a mistake on Xavier Livingston's part if any one of these two can try to take away the lead. But it does not look like that will be the case. Xavier Livingston will come clean off of turn 4. And here they come to the checkered flag. Checker flag is out. Xavier Livingston wins here at Meadowlands. Big win for Xavier Livingston here at the Meadowlands, and that's going to be. I think it's going to be his first career win in the Nationwide Series, and I believe his 2nd career win in all of my series combined. He did win at the Cup Series. I actually mentioned he did win in the Cup Series in Los Angeles in Season 2. So Xavier Livingston has won before in my series, but this will be his 2nd career victory in my league. Dylan Young will end up 2nd. Richard Johnson with a surprising podium finish in 3rd. Callum Wales with a great run in 4th, and James Qualls rounds up the top 5. So we're done here from the Meadowlands and the Nationwide Series. Of course, stay tuned for the Pepsi Cup Series race. And now we take you to your official race results. As you look at your official race results, congratulations to Xavier Livingston, his first win of the season in the Nationwide Series. Dylan Young and Richard Johnson round out the podium. Callum Wales and James Qualls will end up 4th and 5th. 6th through 10th are Jacob Lawler, Joseph Lombard, Sam Young, Red Bell, and Ron Fajara. And again, you got to give credit for Ron Fajara's consistency so far. He's been having all those top 10 finishes, and he's doing pretty good in points. and with a lot of championship contenders falling outside the top 20, I should say, then that should really help Ron Fajara in the points. Trent Dunham will end up 11th, Luke Martin 12th, Robert Wagner 13th, Alex Jones in 14th, Liam Ervig in 15th. 16th through 20th now are James Silverfox, Kyle Sosnowski, Michael Norman, Charles Jackson, and James McLeod. 8 more cars end up finishing the race on the lead lap. David Burton, Max Russell, Brandon Bain, Stephen Whitman, Barney Ward, Eric Burton, Jacob Cook, and Tony Blazer. Ryan Juke ends up a lap down, and it looks like 12 cars have DNF from the race. It will make that 13 because Zara Manu never even crossed the start, never even took the green flag. Rhett Yates, Dylan Potey, Danny Wells, Seth Cole, Ryan Cooper, Sean Henley, Sean Galligan, John Dillon, Cody Lamas, Ben Paul, Jack Richards, and Ryan Richards. Zohar Manood will end up dead last because he never crossed the start finish. He never got to the green flag. So we're done here at the Meadowlands. Of course, the Nationwide Series. Stay tuned for the Cup race. It's going to be epic to see how the Cup race turns out. We'll see if everyone will going to be there for 25 laps because it will be a 50-mile race. Not really a 500-mile race, but it's a 50-mile race. Going to be at the Meadowlands for the Cup Series, and hope you guys stay tuned for that. That's it. This is Randy Orton, Fan 2011, signing off. This race has been brought to you by Pepsi Max. Shit, I've really fucked up there big time. Let me try that again. This race has been brought to you by Pepsi Max. 0 calories, maximum taste. Pepsi Max. Subscribe to me and become a member of the gang. I'm out.